Hello everyone, this is Dragin Hikari, and I welcome you back to Final Fantasy XIV. I apologize, it's been kind of an odd start to the year, and I've had to cancel a number of streams, and I do apologize for that. A lot's been going on since the year started. So let's try to get back into the swing of things anyway. Today's stream is going to be the playthrough of the content from patch 6.55, which is the final content patch until the release of Dawn Trail next summer. Making sure my volume's right here. Unfortunately, since I don't expect that anybody's going to be here this morning, I have to kind of guess whether the volume is correct or not, so we'll play it by ear here. It's really early in the morning, so and given that the patch was already delayed once this morning, and I started stream, and turned out I was going to be off for an hour to nothing in its place. But, anyway, why don't we not waste any time here? One thing to note is the updated Zero Soul Manor has been completed. We aren't going to dive into that this morning, but maybe I'll give a tour later if we have time, or if, depending on how long this all takes. We're going to start with the main scenario quest because that's the meat and potatoes of this today's events. Since this will all lead into Dawn Trail's announcements that we saw a couple week or so ago. Well, let's head to Thavnir and let's begin today's shenanigans. As always, I will try to read everything as best I can, but my voice acting and pronunciation is pretty bad, so let's go. This is either really fun for you or absolute torment. I don't know which it is. Alright, so if I'm guessing, the start quest is probably in Razahan, because that's where the last set of quests ended. No, we will deal with you later. I see you, Hildebrand marker. We'll get around to you later. When one door closes, Bashir has a message from Charlian. Kari, one of my clerks was just here with a message for you. The students of Baldesia request your presence in Charlian at your earliest convenience. Indebted as I am to our friends, I am hoped that I too may be of service, but it is you alone they require. If you have no pressing business, please make your way to the Baldesian Annex at once. Akalo awaits your arrival. In the meantime, I shall continue to show Asdaya the city. From notable landmarks to people's lives, there is still much and more for her to see. Farewell for now, my friend. I look forward to the day we set forth on another adventure together. And thus ends the Void Cycle. Alright, now to head off to Charlian and let's see what's going on. When we last left off, Arnvold was bringing back a mysterious pair of legs that's true identity was revealed to us during the Fan Fest, but now it's time for the in-game interactions. But first, we're off to the Baldesian Arsenal. Yes, double checking the mic. A warm and hearty welcome to you, Kari. I gather you received our message. Please wait while I fetch Kryl and Graha. Thank you for coming on such short notice. You'll Forgive us for sending you for so soon after your trials in the void, saying nothing against your grueling battle against the 12. Now then, we aren't actually the ones who requested your presence, but are involved. He stopped by recently, you see, and asked us to reach out to you on his behalf. For what reason? I imagine you're surprised as we are, given he was supposed to be away on a long expedition. Something must have changed the necessity and change in his plans. And all he would tell us is there was someone who he wished Kari to meet. He also mentioned he would be tending to some business at the studio. Shall we look for him there? Okay. Running. I need non-trail plot given to me. Wow, it's a lot of people. Yeah, but it's definitely patch day. Anvil's early return likely has something to do with the visitor. Who could it be, I wonder? Now then, where is Anvil? Good, I get the rest of my voice.
Apologies for the wait. I hope I haven't called you away from anything important. I chanced upon some commissioned items at my destination, so I thought I might deliver them.
Where did you go, if I may ask?
The New World. Tural.
You went to Tural? Then the person who you wish to introduce?
Aye, she hails from there. I present to you...
But it seems you've lost her.
Did she wander off?
Sorry. It's just so different here. I can't help but want to explore.
Well, while you were exploring, your candidate came to us. This is her, the adventurer you crossed the seas to meet.
Ooh, you weren't exaggerating. It's plain she's no ordinary woman. I'm Uklamat, claimant to the throne of Tulihuela.
Tulihuela.
It's Tural's governing nation. The capital bears the same name.
I'll get to the point. I want you to come with me to my homeland.
That was quick.
Given the magnitude of the request, perhaps you should explain why you're making it?
Of course.
A little high energy, ain't she?
Soon, an event of great import will be held in Tural. The right of succession, taking the form of a contest. It will determine who next ascends the throne. As daughter to its present keeper, I will participate. And I have Ev. I was searching for champions to join me when Erenville told me about you. A mighty warrior who knows no fear, who sweeps aside terrible fiends as if they were reeds, who flew to the edge of existence and saved our star.
Yes.
She asked who Eorzea's greatest hero was, and so I told her. Much more elegantly, I might add.
You said a lot.
Now you know why. You'll come to Tural, yes?
Wait, let's all just slow down. Wuklamat, was it? You claim to be of the royal family. But is it not the Mamulja who rule in Tural?
Tulihyolal is a nation of many peoples. Not only the Mamulsha, as some across the seas are quick to assume. That said, its present ruler is a Mamulsha, and one blessed with two heads beside. He's also my father. Not by blood, obviously, but he raised me as his own, and that's what matters.
So that is the way of it. My apologies if I was indelicate.
Hardly. I know little about your land, and nothing about your parentage. But in my eagerness, I've gotten ahead of myself. I can't expect you to agree on the spot when we've only just... If you have any questions, I'll do my best to answer them. Just know, though, that if it's adventure you seek, you could do far worse than come with me. Now, this is only a rumor. But apparently, the contest will involve the fabled city of gold and the legendary beast, Valyarmanda. Tell me that doesn't pique your interest.
Golden City. I've heard about it before.
So the tales have reached even these shores. I can't help but feel proud.
I advise you not to put much store by these rumors. Golden cities are not but a dreamer's fancy.
Says the dreamer who was bent on finding one when he was a child. Just because you failed doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Tulihyolal and the Golden City. Just like in the letter to Grandfather.
Regardless of what the contest may entail, it'll be no simple thing. If I'm to triumph, I'll need capable and dependable companion. So let's go on a hunt together. There's no better way to get acquainted.
Right now? She's quite energetic, isn't she? Yeah, you catching the Wario light off guard a little bit. Journey to Tural. That's the long and short of it. At the very least, I ask that you go on this hunt of hers and take her measure for yourself. So where to our hunt? The stronger the prey, the better. The game is afoot. Rahatia appears to be equally parts bewildered and excited. The chance to see not only Tural, but the fabled golden cities aside, this is the stuff of grand adventures, my friend. Which, not to say you should hastily accept its invitation, mind. There's a great deal we still do not know. Let's start first by getting acquainted with our visitor in the manner she suggested. I am not certain where a suitable location for our hunt, however. When I was at the guild earlier, I learned of a petition from the researchers on the island of Ham. You were there not too long ago and killed some unruly fauna, of course. But according to recent reports, the ordinary docile fauna has grown savage. It is believed they've been unsettled by some manner of predator, so the researchers seek assistance with identifying and dispatching it. Part of your hunt? Perhaps that may answer the petition. The island isn't far, and we would be helping those in need. That works for me. As you know, I've honed my skill against some of the fiercest beasts in Tural. Whatever this creature is, it'd be able to put up a proper fight, or it'll be ended before we have a chance to get acquainted. Aaron pulls his coat like, why me? And before we can prove ourselves capable and dependable companions... My apologies, but I must see to some preparations. Please go on ahead to the Isle. I shall join you as soon as possible. What's she up to? The rest of you are ready. Let's head to the harbor. This being a guild ship business, it should be simple enough to secure a vessel. That accent is going to kill my voice. I got a whole expansion with these people. There's only supposed to be 3 quests in this, but that doesn't really say much for how long each quest is. I'm assuming we've got a instance trial, probably. Probably. Off to Gillingham. However that's supposed to be pronounced. Oh, this is the wrong one. I have to go the other direction. Because I can read. I also can't tell directions either. Royal was acting a bit strange, don't you think? This is just a simple hunt. I wonder what preparations you need to make. We have loan of a ship from one of the captains, a cheery fellow. I can operate the vessel, so we don't need to trouble him to take us. So we have a ship. Ugh, I barely set foot on dry land. Oh well, I suppose it's good cause. A hunt. Come on, let's get going. Upon boarding the ship, so... Alright. Okay, so this is going to be a longer one. Let us get started then.
From here, we must walk.
So much ice. It rivals even Yogg-Tural. Oh, a white bear! I wonder what it tastes like.
Remember, we're here to deal with creatures that have been deemed an unacceptable danger. Do not attack anything else unprovoked.
I know. So this is the isle where ether literally bursts forth.
Aye, the Isle of Ham. The geysers lie deep inland, however.
You really are knowledgeable. Kona told me nothing about this place.
I doubt your brother managed to come out this way. He's like to have toured facilities like Labyrinthos, however.
The great big cavern under the city. It's amazing that they could make a sky down there complete with a sun.
This brother of yours, he has been to Charlian.
He has. Kona's my second older brother, and until recently, he was a student in the city. He went on and on about technological amusements. It made me want to come here too one day. And so I did. I think I understood something of how he felt when I set foot in his beloved studium.
He went to the studium? Your brother must be quite a scholar. But I wonder, like you, he'd be royalty, yes? With such a personage coming to Sharlayan to receive an education would surely have caused a stir, yet I recall nothing of the sort.
He consulted with the head of the studium beforehand, that his identity might remain secret. Being Mikote, he had no trouble blending in. He's adopted like me, you see.
He must be the Makote then on the Dawn Trail character poster they showed us at FanFest.
One time, though, he almost let it slip to a professor. It was all he could do to parry the barrage of questions.
Having no shortage of questions myself, I can imagine.
Ask whatever you like. I don't mind. But I maintain hunting together is the best way to get...
Interesting to me, anyway.
The researchers should be up ahead. Let's find them and learn what we can.
So she has a second older brother, and I bet that's the Mamulja on the poster as well. I bet it's a three-way contest. Sign of search your prey.
The researchers should be just ahead. There. The building to the northeast.
So, ordinarily harmless creatures have grown savage.
Don't know what's got them riled up, but I'll take down any that think to try me. Right, let's hunt our fill.
Look! Someone's in trouble!
Yeah, taste my ass.
Animals are usually so docile.
Thank goodness you come. I take it you're the ones who've answered our petition. Wait, are you? You are Kari, the inventor who saved our star. Would this meeting be under better circumstances? I was conducting a routine inspection of the transport here when I found myself surrounded. You'll find more of the same across the chasm, once docile animals growing strangely aggressive. My colleagues can tell you more. If you give me a moment, I can finish checking our equipment.
We really are famous.
More or less, in a sense.
And for good reason, as you'll soon see for yourself.
Give me far too much credit. There we go.
Quite an interesting contraption you've got here.
Is that our petitioner? Let's go and have a chat.
If you come to answer the petition, you should speak with my colleague here. The adventurer comes to answer my petition, I presume. We are fortunate to have one of your considerable skill here to aid us. Creatures of unknown origin have been sighted on the island in recent days. We believe their presence has affected the local fauna. The animals in this gate are worst affected we've encountered thus far, though we dare not go back. Your task is to quell any threat you find. Search for the trace of the beast responsible for all this. Should you find anything at all, we would be grateful if you share it with us.
I'll handle this. go.
Got a lot of
On,
bite
let's
to her.
pick up the creature's trail.
You find a ravening beast's remains torn to shred by sharp talons.
These claw marks. I've seen their like before. It's starting to feel like a proper hunt.
Scattered plumage. You find feathers scattered across the ground. There were signs of a fierce struggle.
But did they belong to the predator or the prey?
So, how do you prefer our prey? Roasted or raw?
You presume it's even safe to eat?
Cloud stench of French leavings assail your nostril. Whatever the beast left them, it's still likely still close
Still
by.
fresh. Whatever this beast, it cannot be far.
Do you suppose they're upset with
They're spoiling for a fight. Hey, got one.
Let's head back and report what we found.
Agreed.
Powerful wings and razor-sharp talons. Worthy prey.
Well, I wasn't expecting that.
What is that thing? It speaks?
Giant colibri?
It's heading towards the falls.
I'll stay with the researchers. The creature, I leave to you.
Come, Woklamat.
Right. Just so we're clear, I wasn't startled by the beast earlier. It caught me by surprise, that's all.
Forgive me, but I failed to see a difference.
I'm getting hungry. Let's be done with this so we can eat. Think you're clever, huh? I'll rip off that beak and roast you on a spit!
All right. Duty commenced.
Although you like bird, I'm I'm going to have the last laugh. Oh, joy sinking my teeth into you. Shut up already, you blasted bird!
That was too close.
Ready now?
Spread out, everyone!
You'll pay for that. Thank you. That was hardly a kick.
I'm sorry, that was one ugly core we.
There's nothing to it. We have you now, you loudmouth bastard!
Duty complete.
And I had barely limbered up.
It was a terrible foe, but no match for your axe.
only to be expected.
Not a braver front that she actually has, isn't she?
You were pretty impressive yourselves. I was right to invite you on a hunt. But what a curious bird that was. Though we have similar in Tural, they don't grow so big or use such dirty tricks.
Dirty tricks? Dirty tricks?
Aye, dirty and despicable. Otherwise, I could have easily...
Leave this to me!
What? What on earth was...
Cryle.
I am terribly, terribly sorry to have kept you all waiting.
How many times did she use that line?
She arrived as I was seeing the researchers to safety. It was all I could do to keep up with her after I explained what happened.
So this is what you meant by seeing to preparations?
After hearing of the contest, I thought how wonderful it would be to join you. In coming here, I wanted to demonstrate my skill at arms to Wuklamat. Alas, it seems I missed most...
That was amazing! The piece didn't stand a chance!
I'm glad to have been of service.
May I ask what inspired this change?
You will recall the time you descended to the ethereal sea in search of Heidelin. Recognizing that my skills were... inadequate, I chose to provide support from afar, rather than join you. It was the same when you set forth for Ultima Thule. How it pained me to stay behind, again and again. That's what inspired this change. Ever since the final days were averted, I've used every spare moment to hone my craft. As you all have adapted your methods to suit the circumstances, I started by considering how I might best contribute. And after much deliberation, I arrived at my answer. With the esoteric art passed down by the legendary Archon Realm.
Archon Realm? Archon Realm, really?
As I recall, you have embraced versatility to effectively complement a certain someone's style. What I do is much the same. Like you, I don't want to be left behind.
Indeed. I must say, you appear to be especially keen on being involved in the ritual of succession. Is there any particular reason?
Yes, there is. This letter from Tuli Yolal. It was addressed to my grandfather Galuf and turned up among the students' archives. The ink was faded, so I couldn't fully make out the sender's name. Galul, someone.
Jaja. Gulul Jaja. That's my father, the Dawn servant. What does the letter say?
While much of it isn't legible, it appears to be a request to investigate the Golden City.
A request to investigate the Golden City? From the Dawn servant himself?
Well, well. Seems it may be more than a rumor after all.
Being a member of the royal family, It was my hope that you could confirm the authenticity of this.
I can say for a fact that my father didn't write this. Given how culturally diverse Turiyolal is, it was decided some time ago that a common language was needed. But instead of elevating an existing tongue and its speakers above all others, we looked to those widely spoken overseas and created an altogether new one. The similarities to your common tongue also make it quite easy to communicate in these situations, no? This letter, however, is entirely in Eorzean. If Father had written this, it would have been in Turali. What's more, it bears a wax seal. We don't bother with them.
So the letter is fraudulent, then?
Oh, I didn't mean to say that. My father's signature is genuine, as far as I can tell, so perhaps he simply dictated it.
I see. Oh, thank you for the confirmation. It seems I can't help but be curious as to what exactly he was doing there. In order to help us decide on a course of action, would you mind if I asked you some questions about your home?
By all means. After all, learning about one another was the purpose of this hunt. We can talk while feasting on this fellow. I, for one, am starving.
We're eating that.
Why not, Graha? You've eaten Stranger Things at this point. Thanks to Wu Lamek. I'm gonna have a hiccup. Lamet. It's Lamet. Wook Lamet. Sorry, my cat is vomiting on the floor. Bear with me for just a moment. The joys of having a cat of senior age. Anyway, back to where we were. Now we know who sent the letter to grandfather, among other things, but many questions still remain. I understand Corell's feelings all too well. Desire to do one's part. It can be daunting to try to keep up, but nothing will change unless we take the first step. Ah, what an exciting hunt that was. Now it's time to savor the reward. With the wildlife pacified and the researcher's oak safe, our task is complete. That leaves the matter of the Corberal meat. Better or worse, the only place we can really take it here in Charlie in the last stand. Come on, let's see what Dickon can cook up for us. You know, I'm sort of okay with Erenvol's accent until I have to use specific words with it. Then I'm like, what am I saying? At the last stand now. Well, now there's a familiar face if I've seen one. What can I get you, Kari? Something Corel meat. Oh, bird meat from a hunt, you say? Leave it to me, I have just the recipe. A new dish I recently learned from sailors, and for you, Laud, it's on the house. Have as much as you like, you hear?
Come, come. Let's enjoy the bounty of our first outing together. I'd heard that Charlayan cuisine was terrible, but this is fantastic.
What is this? Oh, it smells spiced?
Oh, come now. Since when did you become so soft? It's not like we don't have spicy food in Tural, too.
According to Dickon, intensely hot dishes have become popular in Razadhan after a traveler ordered a curry with several times the usual amount of spice.
Oh no. Did he give him Zero's curry? Oh no.
So he started offering the same in order to please the growing Harnish population here in Sharlayan.
Oh no. Oh, Zero's dish.
It's nothing I can't handle.
Well, considering that same curry nearly killed an entire establishment, I think you're fine.
Your boorish manners reflect poorly on the both of us. I wish you would consider your station.
I swear, sometimes it feels like you open your mouth only to criticize.
Would I be correct in assuming you've known each other for a long time?
Aye, thick as thieves since we were little.
I beg to differ. She is a long-standing acquaintance. Nothing more.
I see.
All this time you were from Tural. Oh, would that I had known sooner. There's so much I'd like to ask.
You and everyone else. I've kept it quiet so as to avoid the endless interrogations.
Well, if he's going to be a miser, I'll be happy to tell you about our homeland instead. Since ancient times, many peoples have called Tural home, and they've been fighting each other for nearly as long. The fighting finally stopped some 80 years ago, when the reigning Dawn Servant unified the disparate communities and founded a new nation.
And that's how Tuliolal came to be.
Since then, we've enjoyed an era of uninterrupted peace. But my father is getting old, and he wishes to relinquish the throne to a worthy successor. One who can preserve his legacy. Including myself, there are 4 claimants to the throne.
Okay, so there are 4.
But while we all have the right to participate, one among us cannot be allowed to rule.
A man who is too ambitious by half. Word of the Garlean Empire's collapse has reached Tural. While most are simply relieved, he sees weakness to exploit and would lead our armies across the seas on a campaign of conquest.
After everything my father has done to give us peace, he would drag us back into war. I can't allow it. No matter what, I must win this contest.
I understand your reasons. But this being an event that will dictate the course of your nation's future, is it appropriate for outsiders like us to be involved?
Oh, it's more than appropriate. The Dawn Servant himself expressly encourages it. The ruler of Tural must navigate the intricacies of myriad cultures, and there's no better way to prove oneself qualified to do so than to work with foreign allies. That's why I sought you out. Through our hunt, I've confirmed that you're a warrior of considerable skill, but more importantly, one of good character as well. And so I ask you, will you lend me your strength and help me win the throne of Tulihualal? You don't need to decide right this moment. But I will need you if I'm to triumph over the competition. I'll stay here as long as I can while waiting for your answer.
In that case, allow us to prepare a room for you at the Baldessian Annex.
That's very kind of you. Oh, and one more thing. Once we finish eating, would you mind if I...
Be my guest. Judging by Lumok's reaction, it appears to... Well, the only concern isn't excessively fiery. Whether Luke Wak-Lamat has the marking of the ruler, I cannot say, but I knew she deeply cares for her nation and her people. Read dragon, not spout off thing. Whether you choose to help her, though, is for you and you alone to decide. Think on it well. Now then, it's past time I report our mission success to the guild ship. I would have done so sooner, except Her Highness needed to have her royal meal. I shall come by the annex later. Till then. Grahati is mulling over what you've learned about Wuk-Lamat and her plan, the coming dawn. Well, I dare say we have a fair grasp of Wuk-Lamat's situation. Still, you've been afforded time to consider her invitation. Why not use it to learn more about Tural? The Noman is bound to have some information on the continent. It certainly wouldn't hurt to be better informed. Quite right. Now, not only would it help you make an informed decision, but if you choose to go, it'd be better prepared for what awaits. Come on, my friend, let's off to the archives. Off to the library. Yeah, I can understand why the Warrior Light is probably having to think this through a little bit more than normal, because in the past, they've been kind of drug along to whatever situation came up. But this is a more isolated manner than the Warrior Light has dealt with in quite a few expansions, where everything was kind of tied back to the main plot. But now the Warrior Light is being asked to do something that really they have no business of necessarily being involved in. So it's, I can see why there's a little bit more to think about there. Not that we know that the Warrior Light's going to go with it at the end, but... Oh wait, that's the wrong place. I want to go to the Studium. Was already at the Studium. Oh, I need to go up. Well, I was going the right way at first. You know, it's way too early in the morning for me to think. Principle of blue magic and spell acquisition. The origin of blue magic can be traced back to the esoteric practices of the Walqui, tribe in the distant continent of Tural. The tribe holds nature in the highest, and in seeking to cultivate a spiritual connection with it, has learned to harness the power of the wildlife around them. In exchange for teaching common tongue, I was permitted to live among them and train in their ways. Those days were some of the most grueling I remember, but they were tremendously rewarding. For instance, I had the privilege of visiting Lapis Canyon, which is the tribe's sacred grounds. It's named for the cerulean deposit that welled up to the surface, turning the entire canyon a brilliant blue. With the shaman's watchful eye, I managed to master the Wickley's art, make animals' powers my own. Though no name exists for it in the common tongue, I took the liberty of naming it blue magic. The reason I chose this color, as you'll doubtless glean, is for the significance it holds to the Wakli. I cannot think of a name more fitting to honor the people of whom this noble magic was born. Which is all information we know from the Blue Mage quests, though that just kind of expands on what we already know about it. History, geography, botany, the public archives alone should be sufficient to provide solid grounding on Tyrol. Unblemished book. It's impossible to adequately discuss Eorzean cuisine without speaking of the land which many of our modern staples hail, the far western continent of Tyrol. Ogre pumpkins, ruby tomatoes, even the ubiquitous popoto, these crops and more that regularly grace Eorzean dining tables trace their origins back to the New World, as the place is known to most. The tale of this culinary migration began in year 1498 of the Sixth Astral Era, when a Lamensin sailor named Kentenram successfully traversed the Indigo Deep and arrived at a therefore unknown continent. Kentenram spent many moons exploring inland. Of course, he encountered the denizens of the sprawling nation of the Mamal Jah. He was even granted an audience with their supreme leader, whose confidence he won, along with the permission to roam freely. Kentenram would return to Tyrol several times, and during his first expedition, he charted the island, gathered mithril root vegetables and seeds, and brought them back to Limsa Lominsa. The most notable of these was the Popoto, which ease of cultivation and nutritional value saw it spread across all corners of Eorzea. Produce was far from the only bounty that Kentenram's expeditions to Tyrol. Many tantalizing recipes, such as bean-filled burritos, and gripping legends, such as those of the Golden City, had reached shores by the way of his ship. To those outside of Kentenram's circle, Tyrol largely remained in mystery, and its influence on our cuisine cannot be overstated. Many scholars, myself included, relish a chance to immerse themselves in the culinary culture of the faraway continent. Food says a lot about a culture. It really does. It says, you know, what's available to them and what they tend to value as far as flavoring and stuff. Faded tome. Every land is giving rise to unique wildlife, and the continent of Tyrol is no exception. Yet while some of our creatures have some familiar sights in Eorzea, many and more exist that are rarely seen down this side of the Indigo Deep. This tome contains several variations of species described in the testimonies of sailors and adventurers. Alpaca, accustomed to Tyrol's craggy mountain ranges, these four-legged beastkin have been domesticated for seemingly hundreds, if not thousands of years. Their soft white fleece is highly prized by weavers, and their strong legs and sturdy footness makes them capable beasts of burden. Wyvern. This fearsome scaled kin is native to the dense jungles of Tyrol. The Mamal Jah have successful in taming them and utilized their prodigious strength for manual labor. Given their immense size and power, it should be no surprise that the Wyvern is also employed as a siege beast. Enemy fortifications cannot last long against this horned brute's rampage. Malagamanda. Tyrol folklore holds this bird-like creature as the mightiest of beasts and embodies the very embodiment of nature's power. Whether it exists beyond myth, however, is uncertain. Okay, we got one more book here. Leather-bound book. Let us begin by comparing the geographic characteristics of the three great continents of Tyrol. The former stretches from east to west and lies entirely within the northern hemisphere. In contrast, the latter extends far from the reaches both north and southern hemispheres, and a difference is immediately present itself in the form of climate variation. As shifts in climate tend to be gentler when moving from east to west, but harsher when moving from north to south. Owing to this fact, a longitudinal migration is far more common in history, whether by men, animals, or plants. A case in this point is the Alligans, who rose to power in Andorral before advancing east into Islabard. Their movements would mirror thousands of years later by the Garleans. Meanwhile, although the desperate tribes of Tyrol waged war with one another for generations, Stimulated by the climate, none could make any great headway north or south. Tribes hailing from the frozen lands, where beneath the desert sun, while those that thrive in the open plains could not pierce the dense jungle. As such was the way of it, until a leader of the Mamuja succeeded in bringing the continent under one banner. Given the land's divided history and reason therefore, one cannot help but be in awe of this feat, truly a testament to the Autric's greatness. Having pursued a wide selection of books related to Tyrol, you are somewhat better informed about your potential destination. Rahatia will be eager to learn what you've discovered. If you wish to read these books again, speak with the reference page. Okay. Scoured the library to your satisfaction, have you? Excellent. While there are a few books wholly dedicated to the subject of Tyrol, I dare say you found a few tidbits of useful information scattered here and there. But come, let us continue this outside. The mammoths do not take kindly to chatter. Well then, I'm quite keen to hear your honest impressions. I couldn't help but notice when we were reading the very same book on cuisine, I was pleasantly surprised to find reference to Tuliol within. Among them, did anything pique your interest? I had taken with the tale of Kintaram. Ah yes, the renowned Lemensian explorer that transferred the Indigo Deep and discovered the unknown West. In his accomplishments in Enner, he traveled to Tyrol extensively and even forged a friendship with the Dawn Servant. If we were able to meet Kintaram, what things we could learn. Alas, all this happened nigh 4 scores ago. He may no longer be alive to tell his tales. But moving on, did you perhaps learn of the fauna of Tyrol? Given your adventure background, I would expect that topic would interest you. I learned about Valagermanda. Now, why do I get the impression you're imagining pinning your skills against the fell beast? Unfortunately, I found scant detail on your would-be prey. One source simply described it as an enormous winged creature with scales as hard as steel that rules the skies. I'd like to see it with my own eyes, presuming it even exists. I thought I heard familiar voices. Hello, Alfredo, Alize. Fancy running into you two here. Well, well, having some research of your own, do you? Aye, we hoped to arm ourselves with the knowledge that might benefit the Garlean people. Having forged a new trade agreement with Razahan, they look to foster relations with other nations, including former imperial providences. In view of this, we hope to find hints in history how neighbors of differing races and ideologies might engage one another. But of you two, what endeavor brings you here this day? This and this, that and that. For all this and this. A nation composed of the desperate people of Tyrol. I dare say this is precisely the kind of example we seek. We do well to read upon Tuliol ourselves. This contest, is Kari the only one allowed to help Wuklamat? There was no mention of any such restriction. On the contrary, Wuklamat gave us the impression that she could have several champions. I think I have to know what to make most of our respite. Follow me off, Alphino. We have planning to do. Alize, wait! Twould seem our plans have changed, if you'll excuse me. They could never rest on their laurels. Come on, let us return to the annex. I kind of wondered when they were going to bring those two in. And how. Okay, off to the annex. It'll probably be time to start wrapping up. Wrapping up the MXQ for Endwalker. It's finally come to an end. You seem distracted.
Oh, it's just... Despite all that we've learned, I can't help but feel we've yet to hear the whole story. What about you, my friend? Are you inclined to accept or refuse Worklamat's request?
I never say no to a new adventure.
Ha! I thought you might say that. With an intrepid attitude such as yours, I believe all shall be well. Be it the contest or something else, there will be many trials for you to overcome at your destination. But in the course of seeing new lands and meeting new people, you'll surely find a way forward. That's what adventurers do, is it not? Such a journey would be the envy of many a scholar. Distant as it is, Tural remains largely unknown to us, with only meager records to be found in Numenon. The experiences to be had, all the things you might hear, feel, and think. It's enough to stir me to the core. Life is a series of journeys, my friend, and there's no telling what awaits us on the long road. But what's important is to be true to yourself as you walk it. Only then can we hope to be content when we arrive at the end of one and step forward into another. Ah, but there's an idea. I have a matter to attend to at the Agora. Please, go on inside. I will join you shortly.
What is he up to now? The new world. Tural. I must see it for myself. Oh, hello, Thancred. Welcome back, Kari. If you're looking for Will Lamont, she's currently with the others in her chamber. If you like, I can go fetch them for you. Understood. Please wait in the main hall.
You have the look of someone who's made up their mind. Go on then. Let's hear it.
I've never been one to turn down an adventure. I'll do it.
Excellent. You'll be compensated for your troubles, of course. But I dare say your time in Tural will be its own reward.
You're not planning to leave without us, are you?
Alphano, Alize! What are you two doing here?
We happened to cross paths at Numenon earlier, you see, and I told them about Wuklamat. And when we fortuitously met again at the Agora just now, they expressed an interest in meeting our visitor.
Ah, you must be the twins who are sneaking after Erenville as Toad.
100 things about us you could have told her, and you chose that.
First impressions last.
'Tis an honor and a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Your Highness. Alphano Leveilleur at your service, and this is my sister Alize.
Oh no, let's not do that. I really can't stand titles. So, you want to participate in the contest too, is that right?
Indeed we do. We've been assisting with the rebuilding effort in Garlemald. Yet while progress is being made, the question remains of how the nation might reconcile with its neighbors. We believe there is much we might learn from Tuliolal, a nation founded on unity. And in return for this honor, we would spare no effort in supporting your claim.
The more the merrier, I say. And I'd be keen to learn about Eorzea and Garlemald from you as well.
Having recruited so many committed and capable allies, I presume...
Nonsense! Like I told you before, you're indispensable. They're strong, aye, but strangers to our land. They need someone to guide them, to point out the dangers, and spare them grisly death. I can't think of anyone better suited to that task than you. What's more, despite your assertions, I know you haven't given up on the City of Gold.
You're stuck with us.
As I recall, Kryl, you were the first to state your desire to visit Tural.
Perhaps I was. Still, I can't help but worry about being away just when our...
You have nothing to worry about. I haven't forgotten how you held the fort while I set off to explore Alzadal's legacy. It's only fair that I return the favor. Pray, leave.
But, Ra...
You want to retrace your grandfather's steps, don't you? This is a rare opportunity, and I insist that you seize it.
Thank you, Raha. Thank you.
Well, looks like it's settled. I'm counting on you all to help me win the throne.
I suppose now is a good time to show you what I spent a small fortune on at the Agora. There. This, my friends, is the latest map of the world, created to celebrate our friendship with the Loperids. Cast your eyes west of Sharlayan, for there it lies. The site of your next great adventure, Tural.
And that's the end of Endwalker. Alright. Time to wrap up the closing out cutscenes for this. Lest you wonder about your passes to Thrall, Aaronville will arrange a ship through his guild. You need only worry about your own preparations. Speaking of which, take this with you, a rugged and ready knapsack. May it serve you well in your coming adventures. Now, I'm not sure when departure will be, but rest assured I'll let you know when I hear something. Till then, please take your ease. Now it ends. Meanwhile, elsewhere. Well, Limsa Laminsa.
When does the next ship set sail?
May I ask your destination?
The north and east, I've already seen. I suppose I'll head west this time.
West, you say?
And he's off to Thrall as well. Meanwhile, an old Charlian.
I see you've made up your mind. I had a feeling you'd be keen.
But to think that our comrades too are thither bound. Fate doth work in mysterious ways.
Indeed. It will be a grueling task, having to contend with them.
If the prospect doth trouble thee, 'tis not too late to decline the petition. Though thine expression would suggest thou art far from perturbed.
Oh, how could I possibly be, knowing what's to come?
Then let us delay no further and secure passage on a vessel.
Aye. This will be a mission to remember. Come, my friend. We make for Tural.
Tell me, have you been to the ruins beneath the waters of the Bounty? Or the treasure islands beyond the frozen waters of Blind Frost in Offerd's north? The fabled golden cities of the New World?
I will see it for myself. You can count on that. Weigh anchor now, for tide is high, and dawn of new adventure nigh. Row forth to break horizon's bond and tread the gilded path beyond. And story end. And battery dead. I'll be right back. Okay, now we're good. Well, that's the end of the main scenario, so now we just wait for more news on Dawn Trail. But until then, we still have some unfinished business in a few other places. So it's time to head back to Razahan. And since that was a long enough break, I'm not going to take another break now, so let's go ahead and move on to Hildebrand. Of duplicity and duplication. The Lion is ready to embark on his latest investigation. Kari, you're just in time to assist me with my latest fact-finding expedition. Our recent foray into the Charlian revealed that Pupu's friend was in the company of a Hanish alchemist, yes. As such, I was inspired to do some preliminary legwork here in the Thavnir. I contacted my usual sources for local sighting of alien phenomena, but alas, they have nothing to share. I had thus switched tactics and decided to track down the alchemist's fellow instead. Surely someone should have heard this tale of an hypothesis bold enough to set up shop on a Garlean battlefield. The Inspector and the others have been pursuing similar lines of inquiry yet, but have found no leads here in the city or at the Great Work. I believe their investigation heads to Yilmad. I suggest we hurry over and join them. I cannot have that little blue man muddying the waters when we're so close to grasping his master plan. If you say so. I'm sure some shenanigans awaits, if nothing else. Oh, my friend is an exceptional individual, capable of astounding feats I could never accomplish without the help of my ship's equipment. What else can you tell me about your long-lost companion, Master Poo-Poo? This port town would be an excellent place to analyze global trading trends. I see you two are as eager as ever to observe my inspirational genius at work. The long-term fans are the most adherent. As a matter of fact, we are about to continue our investigation into the alchemists that we have been known to traveling with Master Poo-Poo's companion. I mean, that is to say, I'm merely following in the Inspector's wake. Do not be so modest, my dear Brandhilde. It is wrong of me to compose myself to equal to you in all respects, for I am but a copy, and a flawed one at that. Stuff and nonsense, clone or not. Self-depreciation is unbecoming in a Mannerville man. Exactly, the things you do are amazing. Oh, I don't know about that. It was you who saved Kari from certain doom, was it not? Well, not quite as all. The criticism is mine. Your rapid reasoning is nevertheless quite effective. It's kind of you to accept me, rub edges and all. I can hope my meager contributions are of some small assistance. Well, it's by half. I'd say his mental faculties far surpass those of the original. Enough chit-waggling among ourselves. I think. Let us spread out and learn what we can locals about this adventurous apothecary. And there's the stalker again. Popping out of nowhere. How fare your inquiries? I may perchance acquaint with any reckless alchemists. Inspector. And a healthy, a blocky man, a quality. He's sleeping again. If like epilepsy or something. Yes, I know one of the whom you speak. A fellow fisherman told me of a friend of his, an hypocrisy who set off to the war-torn Garlemald to sell his medicine. Reckless fool, if you ask me. I have no interest in the affairs of such men, but I do you take it. So I suggest you head to Isquili and hear the tale for yourself. Look for a red-haired lad that's gathering shellfish. You get to the fishmonger. Do I know any hypocrisies in Razahand? Of course, more than I can count. I've heard not of anyone peddling such good to the heart of Empire, though. Seems like a terrible idea with the civil war raging on and the world almost ending. Situation's improved in recent days, but even so, the Radiant Host still has to provide security for cargo shipments. A lone merchant traveling there alone? Impossible. Inspector Brandhill, he possessed of a brilliant mind. If you were willing to work for the Avenarian Truth, I'd employ him in a heartbeat. I know many merchants who travel abroad to pile their wares, but none who have business in Garlemald. You'd be terribly mad or desperate to indeed consider setting up shop in that troubled land. I mean, we've signed some sort of trade agreement with the Garleans, but it's not quite the place one simply wanders in, opens up a street stall. Ironic that the first person I spoke to gave me the information I needed. But I still gotta speak to everybody. Ah, Kari, I hope your questioning is more fresher fruit than mine. Oh, a good friend of the alchemist, you say? In question, you say? Then let us gather the troops and pay a visit to this litigious fisherman. Story of my hypocrisies, friend? Oh, you mean Arsov? Well, I was near enough to calling it a day anyway, so here's what I can tell you. Orphan comes from a very poor family and growing up never had much in the way of money or possessions. I suppose those experiences are what led him to his long life obsession of gaining wealth. Right his handed succession of trades, deciding alchemy would earn him the most skill, but his stock never sold as well as he hoped. When he heard about the internal strife in Garlemald, he saw it as a golden opportunity. Surely in the middle of a war was the best place to sell medicine. More like the most place for near-death experiences. He soon gave up on the Garlemald venture. But while one would expect him to return, lament his ill fortunes, Bafasar was particularly euphoric the last time I saw him. A god-given blessing he had found in the snowfields had given him much cause to celebrate. Said he had learned how to create gold. I admit I laughed at first. Then he showed me a gleaming mountain and stuff, enough to proclaim him a merchant prince. Even changed his name to Vahudi, a word which brings mind to the bound of the vine. A name I've heard. He's a rising star in the markets, is he not? The one who snapped up all the commercial ventures left and right. Yes, Vahudi has simply made his ambitions known here in Thavnir, especially when he attempted to purchase the entire port of Lemonhan. The dockmaster declined to sell, of course, but when it came to buying historical landmarks, the bottomless purse could open up some surprising doors. Last I heard, he had converted the Guild of Dorea into a private abode, and has been filling it with every rare treasure his gold can secure. He pays out a particularly large sum for artwork depicting the goddess Azira. I remember him being a fervent worshipper of hers even as a child. I've encountered much Masua and Mary Lore in Azahan, yet I recall no mention of this Azira. That's hardly surprising. As a deity of war, she is not well loved by the common folk. Marasov is different, though. He sees life as a constant battle to amass wealth, and it is to Azira whom he prays for victory. And damn me if she didn't listen. Once poor boy becoming a merchant royalty, a man far too rich and too important now to afford more than a fleeting moment for simple fishermen, even those that were once dear friends. If you'll excuse me, I must really leave it at that. These clams won't sell themselves, you know. How about that? Our sought-after apothecary and upstart merchant prince were one and the same. Might we assume the blessing he stumbled upon in Garlemald was a certain alien craft and its occupant? Sorry to interrupt, but you're the hero who helped us when folks were turned into beasts. Well, some nasty-looking creature just showed up outside town. One of our guards went to confront it, but I don't like their odds against that thing. Sounds like a case for Inspector Hildebrand. Come, friends, let us investigate forthwith. Oh boy, here we go again. I thought you destroyed that monster. I have the situation under control, citizens. This individual bears a strong resemblance to a known fugitive, so I thought it prudent to investigate. Regrettably, he's proved less forthcoming with his answers. How many times must we teach you the same lesson, shiny skull man? Lesson? What are you on about? Ah! Cease this babbling and get out of my way. Lord Vadaha's orders are to cause trouble at the port. I am running behind schedule. Adhani, the merchant who tried to buy Yidamad, so he put you up to this? Curses! How'd you manage to do so dastardly plan? You just blurted it out. Silence! No one must learn of our scheme. It'll be something to live, prepared to be squashed, meddlesome worms. Oh, hi, Godbird. That was quick. Three more hideous skullmen. Was the doctor quadruplet? Oh god, she's here too. Oh, that ain't good. Julian, what are you... Oh boy. My mother! Fix it, vermin. This will soften you up. Batter up! Ah, a lucky hit. Bring it. Bring it on. Oops. Oh! Shit. One last pitch. Bring it on. Ultimate heavy hitter special. But that was my fastball. Lasting out again. Well, that's that. I'm just going to leave and pretend none of this ever happened. I've come to expect father-son appearance, but what brings you here, mother? A proposition from the merchant VOD, as a matter of fact. I'm accomplishing your dad as manager, Manderville, and we are just on our way to the bloke's mansion. I've already refused Master Vilhildy once before when he tried to buy our commercial empire. This time, however, his deal concerns offloading a quantity of gold at a wholesale price. 'Tis an attractive offer considering such fine jewelry as our stock in trade, though I thought we'd be listen to his proposal. But he would purposely command his lackey to disturb peace of a public court. Can't do business with a thug like that, absolutely not. Where did these lackeys come from in the first place? Isn't there a hulking weaponized brute factory manufacturer somewhere around here? As I suspected, my ship's vaporization beam is configured to only expunge only replicated matter. So you can copy inorganic materials as well. How interesting. Once the matter duplication factory has analyzed an object's molecular structure, it can generate any number of copies. Yet it cannot create matter from nothing. Requisite supply of ether must be available to facilitate the process. Well, you should know a lot about it. A lot, Inspector Hildebrand, even alien starships. There's no great achievement. As I mentioned, the gaps in my knowledge were patched with data of the ship's own archives, which include this vessel's full schematics and functions. I assume that if I am understanding this correctly, is it possible that Van Hilde is using the repaired alien craft to replicate piles and piles of gold? We share the same suspicion, Master Delion. To my knowledge, no other method exists that could reliably produce precious metals. Of course, this is the obvious conclusion. That being the case, one might assume that Van Hilde is either threatening or deceiving Master Pupu's companion in order to gain access to the vessel's superior technology. Our course of action is clear. We must march right up to this gold-spawning front door and demand the release of his extraterrestrial hostage. Well, now that we've got our sports reference out of the way, let's move on. The Inspector's mother is monstrously strong as the Manderville men, except that doesn't make any sense. All this talk of threats and deceit have me worried. I am given to understand, while identical in appearance, the craft belonging to Master Poop, whose comrade is equipped with more advanced technology. That was a smashing hit, Kari. Good to see you, Kari. Still think you're keeping your company with our darling boy. That lucky lad, a friend of yours, smooth out the edges. He'd be the spin image of our Hildy. I was hesitating to put stock in unsavory rumors I heard, but this unprovoked attack on the port seems to be inconventional proof of Mahodi's villainy. We must confront this malicious merchant at once. If your heart is set on confrontation, you might as well come with us. Van Hildy's invitation includes a private airship flight to his new estate. Aye, we need to formally reject his deal anyway. His pilot will be waiting. A gentleman at heart. Godbert is ready to lend you to Van Hildy's waiting pilot. Shall we be on our way? We'll meet Van Hildy's pilot at the top of the rise just south of Kajada's footsteps. Lord Godbert, Lady Julian. And entourage? Pray excuse my presumptuousness. My son and his company insist they come along. Desperate they were to me with the illustrious Master Vahadi. I see. One moment, if you please. Lord Vahadi should be glad to welcome you to his home. Please step aboard, and I shall take you there directly. Welcome, honored guests. Welcome to my humble abode. I trust the view is to your liking, since you traveled all the way from distant Yulha. A pleasant backdrop to our talks was the least I could provide. And what an unexpected boon this is. I've been debating whether to extend you a personal invitation, but now here you are, like a wish come true. Save your act for the magistrals, Van Hildy. We know of your secret of your ill-gotten gold. You cease this exploitation of alien technology and release your hostage into the care of Master Poo-Poo at once. Unraveled my schemes, have you? Good. Then I need to waste my breath on tedious explanations, then. It's Master Poo-Poo, I assumed. I do have his fellow alien here with me, yes. As for exploiting their technology, I freely admit the duplication of a frankly obscene amount of gold, but that was merely the beginning. Imagine making copy after copy of the deadliest weapon in existence. Would not the world itself be for your taking? Let's get to the point. I want you at my side. With the valiant warrior of light as the template of my clone army, we would conquer this and every other land in creation. I refuse categorically and empathetically. I'm not your pawn. A pity, yet I anticipated you would provide implementation to my ascension. And yet it seems the time has come to test Lugi's ritual manifestation. All was prepared long in advance to your coming. This tower not only holds the mundane treasures, but also a cache of crystals. As for the requisite congregation of worshippers, well, I had no choice but to clone myself. After all, who is more devoted to my cause and my goddess than me? Divine Azura, take up thy blades and wage war upon my earthly rival. No, don't. Nay, if the ran against the primal, we'd be more of a hindrance than a help. We dare not remain within its sphere of influence. Best of luck, my friend. I must make a gentlemanly withdrawal. Yeah, primal or not, I'm still immune. The rest of you are not. All right, let's do this. The Gilded Araya. Let's see what you got, Azura.
I am Asura, and on battle I thrive.
Good, because that's...
The courage and strength to face me.
You better bet I can. Those are some tiny circles.
The fair shall fall.
Ah, didn't feel it.
You've not time to blink. Tremble before the might of the
shall perish.
Okay, I think I get what's going on here. Yeah, that hurt a bit. The 6-blade thing, I was like, uh-oh. Oh, he moved. Freaking moved. That's gonna be a rough one.
The face of battle is ever changing. Joyful is your downfall. I will scatter your bones.
I mean, I won't try. Wait for him to teleport before I make my move here.
Unmerciful light shine upon you.
Yeah, the pattern's actually not that difficult. I just was getting led myself getting confused. And game set. And that, as we say, is that. Not a difficult one, really, but it was enough to kill some people the first time through. Probably will get a lot easier as people do it more. And my alarm's going off. Bear with me here. Okay, there we go. Good show, Kari. You seems like you thoroughly trounced that pesky primal. Even as we speak, Mother and Father should be informing the Radiant host of the despicable Vandahildi's wrongdoings. The Divine Desire defeated. Turn the wheel. We must leave for now. Who's flying that starship without my permission? That treasure is mine, and mine alone! You called your vessel, Master Poo-Poo? No, I did not. It's my friendship. At last, the moment of sweet reunion is at hand. I am relieved to see that you are safe. Likewise, my friend. Why did you open fire on the airship? Did that man help you after your crash? He did at first. He pulled me from the wreckage and saw to it my vessel was repaired. So in return, I replicated whatever trinkets he desired and taught him the basic of starship technology. That resolved to be a terrible error in judgment. When I was infected by one of Star's unique pathogens, he took advantage of my weakened state, seized my ship, and flew me out of the jungle and left me there to die. Slowly agonizing, I was able to synthesize a cure for my affliction, and then I came back to reclaim my property. This experience led me to conclude that the dominant sentient life forms are dull-lidded, cruel, and entirely unsuitable for peaceful cohabitation. We must launch a full-scale invasion. It's the only way to guarantee our survival. No, they're not all like that. These ones have been nothing but kind to me. Yes, they're all smiles until they laser you in the back. We have to strike before they show their true colors. Well, that isn't good. Ship's reactor core has been breached. If it explodes, everyone will be... the vicinity will be atomized, and we're all in the vicinity. Brain blast. Think, damn it, think. If I don't stop the explosion, need to traverse considerable distance up to the starship, but I can conceive of no logical solution. Oh god, what are they doing? Inspector Brandhilde, you must imply my father's mighty moves to propel me to the vessel. I do have calculated that Lord Godbert's signature technique is our only means of achieving sufficient propulsion. There's a flaw in your proposal. I lack the strength to properly perform the throw, and I have no time to teach you the starship's controls. Inspector, it is you who must fling me. Skyward is only a Manderville can. In the wrong direction. I lost my grip. Given my trajectory and velocity, the correct shift in position should generate enough lift and precision movement to... Yes, I can make it. Oh my god. Buttons underneath. It's too late. The reactor is going critical. There's only one way to save the day. Inspector Brunhilde! Our brief time together was more than any defective clone could ask for. Be well, my friends. Is this case closed for Inspector Brunhilde? Nay, my loyal assistant. As a chip off the old gentleman, heart's dear Brunhilde has surely survived to tell the tale. We shall see him again, mark my words. You rescued me, even though I tried to incinerate you with a high-intensity plasma blast. Even at the cost of one of your own, if only I could make amends to earn your forgiveness, but alas. There's naught to forgive. With his blonky constitution, Inspector Brunhilde will be just fine, I assure you. As a friend of Master Poo-Poo, you are a friend of ours. What's a few minor plasma burns among friends, eh? Our home planet, it was lost to the phenomenon you call the final days. We survived only because we were away exploring the cosmos at the time. Our explorations, which we had cared for, served no purpose but curiosity, shifting to search for a safe haven. We visited countless stars, but all had succumbed to the same insurance ruin as our own. Growing desperate, we decided to settle on any suitable refuge we could find, whether it was populated or not. If the native beings were hospitable, we would have lived peacefully alongside them. If not, we were prepared to claim a new home by force. I was so that when I was arrived at your miraculous planet, lured by the apparent absence of metaphysical chaos, I blundered into a mundane war zone where I was promptly shot out of the sky. You know the rest. Having fallen behind our search, I hurried here when my communications received no answers. That's when I meant you, Inspector Hildebrand. Those touched by the despair of the final days are reduced to beasts. Given our savage willingness to invade your star, it seems in a sense we fell prey to that despair after all. Fortunately, my encounter with generous people brought me to my senses, an outcome which I am profoundly grateful. That to be said, there's nowhere for us to go. Would it be too much trouble to ask you to live here on your star? Well, of course you must stay. I expect you'll wish to repair your damaged vessel. Uh-oh. Mommy! Oh, Inspector, not again. Wait for me. Oh, never a dull moment for our Hildebrand. At least we don't need to worry if the ship crashes now with an impervious Mandervillian on board. Funny you should mention that. Upon reviewing the Manderville family tree, who was made loud and clear without hair of his own, passed the name to adopted child several generations ago. Are you saying you and your son are not direct descendants of Godbrand, the alien renegator of the Manderville line? Then how do you explain your unnatural sturdiness? When it comes to building strength and perfectly gentlemanly technique, it is not of lineages which matters, rather unbending conviction of one's heart. Through Godbrand's bloodline may be broken, House Manderville shall live on through us. The begone boy can't swallow that explanation. I've also heard talks of your unseen power driven by feeling and emotion. Did you have until tapped into that cosmic essence? Oh, if that's the case, you must be possibly swimming with it, my dear. Oh no, here we go again. Things seem to be under control here. Let's return to the city, shall we? Okay, so the actual Mandervilles now aren't aliens. What are you doing? Once more do I find myself hurtling at super ludicrous speed towards an unknown destination. Another day, another thrilling case for Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire. And off he goes again. We'll see you in Dawn Trail, Hildebrand. Thanks to enlightened Conversation Master Poo-Poo on the way back here, I believe I have the answers required to proceed with our weapon smithing project. I trust Endeavor still holds your interests. Pray inform Master Gilroth of your willingness to assist, and my hammer and I shall make all haste to the High Constable. With that, I bid you good day. Thank you all for looking out for my precious son. I'm sure him and that blocky lad will be back for more cases before you know it. I don't know why I'm going with Southern Aristocrat for them, but you've gone above and beyond for us, Kari, so I'd like you to have one of the replica starships we made. It doesn't have the duplication faculty or other technology on board, but you wish to carry it through the skies, use this key to call it whenever you wish. As for the two of us, we've decided to get to know our new home better by embarking on a journey of exploration. So this is where we must say our farewells. Thank you for everything, and we are fortunate indeed to have met you. Seems that Poo-Poo wasn't planning to launch an invasion after all. He even tried to stop his friend from launching an attack. By calling an end to this investigation, Kari, your unfailing support during this entire ordeal has been most appreciated. Thanks to you, I was able to observe the inner workings of Charlie and even travel to the surface of the moon in search of truth. And even when my own conspiracies threatened to blind me, you were there to open my eyes to the true shape of things. Yet this world harbors its share of strange and inexplicable, not the least the source of the Hildebrand's impossible physiology. Not alien, then maybe he's a product of a hyper-advanced civilization from a distant past, some gruesome biological experiment. Someone needs to plumb the depths of this unexplained phenomenon, and I am the very man for the job. Okay, Alex Jones, take it easy there. And he's away. Flowing in their veins, the source of their strength, enigma remains. Dynamic coat and clothing bestow. Family house Manderville. I cannot read that fast. True infector is born from the heart. La 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 dee da. La 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 dee da. Tra la la tra la 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 la. Tra la 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 la. Why am I doing this? Hildebrand will return. What is the stalker doing? Ooh. Ah! What in the name of... Oh, jeez. Brandhild, he is alive. Okay, so he did get vaporized. Which means he'll probably show up again. Well, that was a fun little diversion. Okay, before we move on to the next story point, which will be Totaro's grand endeavor, let's go ahead and take a short break here. So I'm going to put us on hold and we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Alright, I said we were going to do Totaro's next, but I just forgot about the relic weapon already. So let's go ahead and take care of that first. But before I do that, I need to take the, to grab it out of my inventory. Alright. Let's head to the High Crucible. Speak over to Garoth about the whole situation. Resonating with perfection. Garoth is itching to get on with perfecting the Manderville weapons. Yeah, Godbud's finally figured out a way to perfect his alien weaponry. About bleeding time, eh? I shall inform his lordship that you are eager to begin. At long last, Kari, our arduous journey and our most rewarding weaponsmith journey is finally in sight. A bloody expensive journey it's been. That's why I'm here, not so dutifully wife or Dolden mother, but as a senior partner in Manderville and Manderville. Our company's footing the bill for source of extravagant materials and expert assistance, not to mention the rent we're paying for these high crucible faculties. Even if this were the final stage of the process, it's only one Manderville weapon out of sodden many. Our side business in replica weapons ain't exactly booming either, so I reckon I need to come and gauge the value of continuing this venture with two eyes. So let's begin with the full cooperation of my wife, business partner. She oversees proceedings. There's a sight to see. Seems his lordship has lost his composure. What happened to you, Godbud? Did you tell you weren't telling me how ridiculous your wealth has made you free to craft whatever you please? I'd be on my best behavior if I were you, Master Godder. After all, your considerable remuneration is one of the many expenditures Lady Julian will be scrutinizing. You better just go along with it. Let's move on to the matter of the armament augmentation, shall we? Surprisingly, the key to perfecting the weapon lies in the application of perfect oil, a substance known as Ultra Mandervillia. This super lubricant will serve as to maximize aether conduction. Again with the creepy oils. As one is might have predicted, the Manderville's main agent is derived from yet another incredibly rare mineralic material, cosmic crystallite, as it's called. When it comes to the manner of extracting said ingredient from the meteorite, my ancient relics were completely devoid of the instruction. Thus I did consult him out of poo-poo, and thanks to his encyclopedic knowledge of alien civilization, he was able to furnish me with a request technique. I must say it's a rather unorthodox process, and one I cannot complete alone. As necessity, it shall necessitate the involved of everybody present. I like the sound of that. What flop and nonsense do you mean to force upon us this time? Undoubtedly too taxing, I assure you. All will be explained in due course. Yeah, before we begin, we must tend to the tedious chore of producing crafting materials, Kari. If you would pray acquire the crystalline through our usual tombstone-hungry vendor. We shall require 3 goody chunks, one for the oil's main ingredient, and the others to reshape the weapon itself. Yes, I must warn you that the advanced Mandervillian techniques will not only enhance your armor's property, but greatly alter its appearance. As in anticipation of such wondrous transformation, let us hurry to our tasks. Okay, I've got to go throw the 1.5k tombstones at the lady again. Because that's all it's been this expansion, so we're going to go with that. Okay. Oh, let's have a look at them shiny rocks. These all do the trick. I'll grab his lordship when we get to work. Thank you for your untiring efforts, Kari. These acquisitions were most demanding. I know, but we could not proceed without them. Crystalline in this type is said to have mystical properties. Its every molt is infused with the aether from its journey across the cosmos. We use God Bratton's technique to harness and condense this cosmic energy, so that we may extract a single concentrated drop. This precious liquid is the heart and soul of our Ultra Manderville coating. Well, that's blood and fascinating and all. Would you explain the goddamn technique already? You mean us have fighting this time, meditating? Dancing, my good man. We should perform the traditional dance of House Manderville together. In his search for viable material, Godbrand failed to extract the crystalline's ethereal essence numerous times. Frustrated beyond measure, he contact a friend on a far-off star to ask for advice. Thus he did learn of a theory of compressing the crystalline's energy stored by bombarding it with specific aether form, much like squeezing a lemon. Inspired, Godbird returned to work, where he experimented with generating waveforms through physical movement. One particular choreograph provided with the perfect resonance. Lo, the trademark Manderville Idolations were born. As so, the far-off star in question was the homeworld of our own Master Poo-Poo. It was his keen eye to recognize the familiar resonance of our gentlemanly dance that allowed us to rediscover the extraction process. Dress up in fancy words all you want, but I ain't swallowing this ridiculous shite. That you think you can extract material with such your daft dancing? Count me out. I've come as a strictly observational role, so there's no dancing for me either. If you both wish, I shall perform the extraction without you. As for you, Kari, your role will be most crucial. I'd like you to hold the crystal light and catch the quintessence as it falls. Understood. Of course. You see, load of chocobo shit. The dance lacks sufficient intensity. For the love of fine. You've got to be kidding me. It's bloody magical. Resonance is still not strong enough. Oh boy. This is the most absurd weapon quest in all of existence. I saw our combination performance did the trick. As a gear off the dial, we'll take it from here. Let us prepare the vial of the Ultra Manderville and proceed with the final augmentations. You're about to witness the peak of craftsmanship. Now apply the Manderville coating. As with the prior stage, the final composition of the oil's ingredients will greatly influence the armament's properties. I shall need to take a moment to consider which qualities you want to value most in your weaponry. Okay, this is the... Grit, hit, and determination, of course. With tenacity being the last. You're certain, so it shall be. Because I don't need skill speed. Well, isn't that flashy? Behold, Kai, the work is done. The perfect art of dedicated artisans. A manner of villainous gunblade. Beautiful, tangible reward for all toil and sacrifice. Grand sight, fighting mammoths, drinking weird booze, dancing weird jigs is not a bloody way to forge a weapon, but I can't argue with the end result. There is one other favorable consequence of finishing our project. My family's relic contains what appears to be a locked record, and if Master Poo-Poo is correct, our complete Manderville weaponry should serve as a key to opening. Shall we try it? Manderville weapons. The saga ends. Excellent. Seems the relic has responded to your armament. Let's commence the viewing. If you're watching this recording, then I must assume you have successfully brought the Manderville weapon to its completed state. Allow me to share the philosophy that went into the weapon's creation. As I explained in my previous story, the many worlds upon which the Mandervilles reside were laid waste by an inexplicable catastrophe. Final days, one must imagine. Peace reigned upon this star for now, but we never know what, when, or what matter of chaos may threaten our tranquil lives. Thus I did endear to forge armaments with the power to repel any threat, no matter how dire. However, in the wrong hands, such powerful weapons may exacerbate the very problem that they were created to solve. Sadly, my long search for worthy wielders, those possessed of martial excellence and unyielding mortal fortitude, has failed. I have no choice but to destroy my triumphant works. That explains how you lost the originals, eh? In hope the deserving hero will emerge one day, I've decided to leave my secrets of the manufacturing to my heirs. By necessity, the process may be rendered cryptic, lest these potential armaments be too readily attained. The fact that you were watching Proves you have had the wisdom to pierce my laboratory obfuscations and the discipline to retrace the grueling steps of my Smithen saga. I have faith in your judgment. Do what is just. Entrust the Manderville weaponry to those who are the champions in the ideal of peace. How gratifying to know my motivations were aligned with those of my ancestors. My own experience with the final day has moved me to recreate the Manderville weapons put in heroic hands such as yours. It is more gratifying still that we should succeed in the task which Godbert set for his descendants. I thank you all for your valuable contributions. I made a bit of a shock to hear we are crafting alien designs, but you hired the right smith for the job. No, your job isn't over yet. Yes, there are still many weapon variants we still have left to reforge. I know. Don't get your bloody small coats in a twist. I'll stick around until the last blow is hammered. For the extraction of the Manderville essence, I must call upon the assistance of the High Crucible Act. It doesn't matter who performs the dance, as long as they're doing with generally perfection and a bond. Clear to me now that the Manderville weapon project is more than just a pet project. They're an investment in the future of our world. You have my permission to keep them on the books as official Manderville enterprise. Oh, that Tesla would brief. It would be difficult to cover the expenses with my weekly entertainment budget. With that matter, we can continue as before. With our most excellent House Manderville artisans, we shall handle the request to perfect any other weapon in your possession. Meanwhile, resident expert alchemists will assist with the adjustment of any weapon properties. Assuming you supply the requested crystallite, of course. All in all, this has been a satisfying experience. My thanks again. I look forward to our next mutual beneficial encounter. Okay, it's been dyed with my appropriate color scheme now. I'm not sure what to make of this one, to be perfectly honest, and whether I like it or if I don't. Looks like the friggin' Monado from Xenoblade. Alright. I'm gonna hold on for it for the moment. And we'll head to... Need to head to Charlian now to begin Tataru's grand endeavor. Treasured bonds. Mendelia seems eager to share something with you. Sorry about that. Kari, I have wonderful news. Thanks to your tireless deliveries, we are now overwhelmed with orders. Miss Tataru's plan was a success. That's another shipment sent. I don't think I've packed so many parcels in my life. I don't believe we've met before, have we? My apologies. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Hashidat. Like so many Hanish refugees, I left my home in Pakistan to come to Charlian during my final days. You saved my life more than once. I see. Working at Taru's boutique with Magia and Astura abide behind the scenes. It's where I have occasion to visit the storefront. An unfortunate side effect of our constant demand of our staff, though I think we would all agree the hustle bustle's for the best. But do you wonder what we'll do with the samples that have served their purpose? Our equipment is crafted to the last, which is wonderful, of course. It also means our customers are not likely to request replacements for some time. Therefore, if we're not constantly receiving new customers, our good fortune will eventually sour, no? Miss Tataru isn't so foolish to have not anticipated such things. I'm sure she is coming up with new and exciting products to offer our existing clients. Actually, I had an idea of my own for a new product, I mean. In fact, I presented to Miss Tataru the other day a new uniform to outfit the alchemists and researchers of Charlian. Oh, how enterprising, and what did she say? Well, she seemed hesitant. I could only interpret as reluctance to hurt my feelings with such explicit rejection. But she told me she'd look into it further and draft a formal proposal for review. That's wonderful, Magia. When she says to look into it further, you mean she's conducting some manner of market survey of alchemists and researchers? Just so. But, well, some of them are involved in such sensitive work that simply approaching them is out of the question. Which to say, my petition to enter Labyrinthos was denied. Instead, I tried the studium. Secretary Bamet was only too happy to schedule a meeting with an academic representative. Now it's come down to it, I feel ill with nerves. If it were on Miss Bataro's behalf, it would be different, but this was my initiative, my idea. I'd offer to accompany you, but I have to mind the counter. Perhaps you can offer Medea your support? Oh, thank you. Can I come as well? I was just starting to think of what our suppliers might need for our artisans once your plan is approved. Of course, very well. Off to the studio we go. Yeah, this may be it, because I might start losing my voice soon. Okay, it wasn't in there. Isn't that near? A man of science is almost certainly a practitioner of the alchemic arts, but scholars pursue all sorts of minor disciplines, some less practical than others from what I've seen. Building might as well be a temple for how steward it feels. I'm glad to have your company. Was told Quinn Alapolm will be meeting us here. I'm sure they'll be around shortly. Hello. Representative from Tartar's Boutique, I presume. Hikari, what a pleasant surprise, but I suppose your presence should merit no shock given the breadth of your generosity. Pleased to make your acquaintance. I am Medea, and I am ever so obliged to you for making the time to speak with us. When Napoleon at your service, there's no need to stand on ceremony, I assure you. Most of our alchemists are far more concerned with their research than pleasantries, admittedly to their detriment at times. Anyway, how may I help you this morning? This and this, that and that. A uniform for our academics and researchers, you say? I am myself ill-equipped to offer an authoritative opinion on the matter, so permit me to arrange some meetings with our faculty representatives. Please make yourself comfortable in the auditorium while I go and summon a few of our more personable personnel. Well, the Faculty of Archaeology, we spend most of our time traipsing around ancient ruins, which often ends up ruining our clothes if you pardon the pun. An outfit durable enough to handle extensive use would be welcome, but it would need to be lightweight and breathable as well. Equatorial deserts can be most taxing, but then again, you'd be surprised how many relics are hidden at the bottom of lakes. Northern water could get quite chilly. As it stands, my colleagues and I throw any old thing for our field work. Whatever we have on hand is suitable for the conditions, with the understanding that maybe need to be disposed of afterwards. Poor Boric works his fingers to the bone, as they say. If Professor Nemino caught me shopping around for fancy clothes instead of interns, he'd be the one dressing me down. Misplaced priorities might... Never mind the tight budget. None of this is what you were hoping for, I realize. No, thank you for the candor. It's true, a new kit can be rather expensive. We must ensure our prices stay affordable. The ideal outfit for astronomer? Wait, Durham mentioned something about fashion recently. What were you when we were stargazing? What was it? It's not the clothes that makes the man, June, but the man makes the clothes. Yeah, it's very lovely and poetic, but I haven't the foggiest what it means. Yeah, I suppose we astronomers often conduct our celestial observations from locations remote and subsequently chilly, you know, mountaintops and the like, so something warm? If warm was the only requirement, you think this would be the... They'd say this is the opposite of an untapped market niche. The Faculty of Medicine has strict requirements for our dress on account of hygiene regulations. Fabrics must be resistant to stains and possess antibacterial properties that are a must, for example. Additionally, we students of the nutritional sciences must vigorously dart about the kitchen. Dressing comfortably is nearly essential as cleanliness, and if fashionable enough would be to inspire others to follow in our footsteps, all the better. Indeed, style is an essential ingredient, just like a perfect loaf of Marvin bread. The ideal outfit should not embody practicality, but leave all those with a feeling of aesthetic sanity. We require no such clothing at the Faculty of Anthropology, as we make everything right here. Rather, Professor Tankin prefers to do so that you may better understand how necessity begots innovation. Not that I can say I completely agree with the logic, I suppose. I've grown to appreciate his sense of aesthetics and the Professor IR, but that has little bearing on your project. Not long ago, an outfit that makes Amarlight's ethereal sickness might have been my answer, but thanks to the Faculty of Medicine's miraculous experimental treatments, I no longer have such need. What's more, I don't think I could bear to don anything but this professor's crown, at least for now. I've worked so hard for it. Well, how did it go? I don't know, to be honest. Everyone has such different preferences that I'm not even sure it's possible to satisfy them all. Fair concern, the students' faculties are filled with opinionated individuals, each with their own peculiarities. Additionally, our academics spend much of their time engaging in field work as opposed to seminars, which further complicates stipulation of dress. Academics sound as unique as adventurers. Indeed. It was naive to assume that one type of uniform could account for all needs of academics. You'd best return to the boutique. Thank you for your assistance, Mr. Alapone. I truly thought I had a good idea. No doubt Mrs. Totaro knew the folly, but me researched it regardless, so I might reach the conclusion on my own. You meant well. See how hardships make you strong. That is an important phrase to you, isn't it? Indeed it is. It comes from teachings bestowed upon us by the old gods. Many Hanish held fast to those words and their wisdom during the final days as to not give in to despair. When we call upon the divinities, it's not to beg for salvation, but for guidance. As long as we live by their teachings, there's no hardship we cannot overcome. This is the core tenet of the Hanish faith that has seen us through many adversities since the founding of our nation. As you say, Hadash, yet until you did, it did not occur to me to consider how they might apply to my personal struggle. Coming to Charlie and working with Mrs. Taro at the boutique, I've met so many people from all sorts of cultures, but in trying so hard to accommodate their wants and needs, I fear my own heritage has become an afterthought. No shame in dedicating yourself to your work. We all have our limits. Compromises and sacrifices are inevitable. It may surprise you, but I once aspired to become a stewardess. Looking back, it feels fanciful. Strange that we easily let our dreams be cast aside by circumstance. I swore nothing would stand between me and my chosen path, yet here I am. I know the divinities guide us wherever we go, but what if we stray too far? I would be a fool to suggest perhaps we return to Thavnir. But Miss Sitaru has done so much for us. We can't simply leave the boutique on a moment's notice. Maybe not, but what of our friends and family? It's one thing to send us money and well wishes. I wonder if we could not do more, just if we were back there helping to rebuild. We haven't gone back to our villages since the final days. And if we already forgotten our old lives, I don't know. I just think Mr. Sitaru should know how we feel is all. Suppose I have been dedicating myself to my work. What is this who I wanted to be? A Hanish who's forgotten her culture? Tadashu says that Mr. Sitaru should be stopping by soon. When I asked how she felt about returning to Thavnir, she said she needed time to consider. For my part at least, I think consulting with Miss Tataru will put my mind at ease. My, what a busy counter we had this morning, Hadash. Good to see you from behind your usual shipping crates. Yes, I thought come and help Medicine with her research. We just returned from interviewing academics at the studium. About that, Mrs. Tataru. Sufficient to say, their requirements were all radically different. I know I said I would uniform research and academics, but I fear I may deeply have underestimated the feasibility of such a project. That's perfectly alright. The important thing is you learn from what you discovered and retain and apply that knowledge as you continue your entrepreneurial journey. The right idea for the new project will be find us when we're ready. In the meantime, I have more samples in delivery, seeing as Kari is very conveniently standing in my line of sight. A thousand pardons, Mr. Sitaru, but before you continue, I wish to speak to you about a personal matter. You have shown us incredible charity, which makes us all the more difficult to ask, but I'm wondering if I should return home to Thavnir. Please do not mistake it for dissatisfaction with our arrangement. If anything, I've grown accustomed to life in Charlian, but I fear I begin to forget myself, my dreams, my faith, the person I used to be before I came here. Not only in that, in my regular remissions, I worry of our village struggling to rebuild in the final days, where I will live happily removed from a burden I thought I might share more. It feels disingenuous, both my home and the many kindnesses you continue to show us. I see, and do you both feel the same? I've been so devoted to my work that I haven't given much thought to return till Hadash mentioned it, but to claim I am not worried about the village would be a lie. While I'm a similar mind to Magina, I must nevertheless remain here. Among other reasons, there is a project I am resolved to complete. Well, I'd be so sorry to see any of you go, but if any remaining here causes you grief, I will spare no effort to see you home. Which is why I decided the next set of samples will be delivered to Pakala stands. Furthermore, I was asking those who wish to accomplish Kari on her errand. Seeing how your village fares will no doubt be the best thing for both of you right now. It will help you understand your feelings. After that, we can proceed however you desire. And should your colleagues require it, I'm sure you can be relied on to disperse the perfect advice. Chia, Tadashi, give everyone my regards. And it's settled, I'll prepare these samples at once. Allow me to assist. No matter what happens, we must finish Miss Tataru's necklace. We are ready to proceed with the restoration, do you think? I dare say we have enough additional materials thanks to Kari's dedication. As for the work itself, I thought we could entrust it to the Lapera Miss Tataru was once apprenticed with. I'm sure that will mean a lot to Tataru. I'm glad you think so as well. Let's leave the necklace in Fadashu's capable hands and join Hadashu in Scholar's Harbor. I never imagined we get the opportunity to return so quickly. I hope everyone is doing well. I remember when we first stepped foot upon these docks. After a long, exhausting journey through the frozen wastes, after surviving the horrible beasts, Mr. Sitaru was a warm beacon of light. Working in the boutique helped us rebuild our lives, but I will never forget that feeling of powerlessness. I have stayed at Pakistan to defend my people. Was I a coward to flee? A betrayal to my home and myself to remain here. I can't stop thinking in circles. Anyway, I'm glad for this opportunity to better understand where my heart truly lies. All will be well, I'm sure, but we must be off lest we miss our connecting flight. I miss the smell of spice and this warmth. We're back. We're truly back at Thavnir. Was Razahan always this grand? I can't believe we lived so close, yet rarely made the trip. Remember how it was? Village duties always kept us too busy to travel. Vending pilgrims was always enough stewards, even before the final days. Wonder how many of the temple roads are still traversable. Even those in Razahan struggle for travel for worship. Our feelings of estrangement would be more common than we think. As we come all this way, would you mind terribly if Tadashi and I toured the city on our own? Let's plan to meet in Pakistan anon. Alright, let's head to Pakistan then. Trying to make sure my voice holds out at least till the end of this here. I was hoping we'd be able to do the tribal quest too, but I don't think my voice is going to hold out for another entire plot line. So I apologize, that part won't be streamed. But we've almost been streaming for 4 hours now, so that's probably enough for me, since I also have to... Since we are going to be streaming this evening during raid night, so... Home at last. Yes, home. I can finally breathe again. Come on, let's go find the Elder. Elder Yovit. Adash, Magia? Wonderful it is to see you. I have been so worried. Tell me, how is life in Charlian? Has it been treating you well? Oh yes, Elder. Our employer, Mrs. Sataru, is the kindest of businesswomen. In fact, she arranged us to accomplish Hikari on her errand here, so we may enjoy some time at home. That's good of her indeed. I'm relieved to hear you're being looked after. You are ever a guardian to our people. Thank you for seeing these children safely home. Now then, what is this errand you speak of? This and this, that and that. How splendid. Our stewards should put these to good use, you may be assured. Only we repay your generosity with something even half as marvelous. Alas, our village is a little extravagance. Everything seems to be as it ever was. Indeed, with the support of the Radiant Host and the funds you and the others have sent, we've regained much of the peace we knew. Thank the sisters. There was something I wanted to speak to you about, Elder. This and this, that and that. You're worried your hearts have grown distant from Thavnir, that you've wandered too far from home. But my child, it is only right that you should wander, that you should roam. Your heart's connections endure no matter where you go. You yet think of us fondly enough to visit, yes, and to Gil when you can spare it, do you not? Gestures perhaps, but not true commitment. Should I not be here with all of you, working to restore our village? There is no restoring our village, Dash. Without those we have lost, Pakistan will never be as it was. Yet, instead we must do all we can to become a new village, with a new future ahead of us, though the particulars of our path are not yet clear to me. How so? Ours have always been a settlement of stewards, as you know, tasked with the protection and preservation of Thavnir's sacred sites. But we have not seen our roads shaken and temples defiled by beasts, the materials not always within our ability to protect. What is everlasting is our faith, our bond between our people and the divine. Through old teachings we remind ourselves of life's meaning. Yet should we wish to ensure our traditions endure for generations to come, we not do more than maintain our temples until pilgrims deign to visit? But I do not wish to tire you with this old man's musings. Surely there are other ways to ensure our people remain connected to their heritage and faith. Indeed, there's the right idea, something that our new village could offer. Well, it seems that my words have inspired you. With the worldly insight you have gained, I am sure any future you envision for Pakistan will be nothing short of remarkable. There's no need to rush. Take some time to speak with the others and make yourself at home. Okay, yeah, I wish I was going to be able to continue all the way to the end of this plot, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. My throat is just giving out here. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up for now. We will be back tonight at 7:30 p.m. Central Time for our standard Final Fantasy XIV raid night. And then I will also be back tomorrow to hopefully continue on with the Mega Man Battle Network 3 playthrough. So hopefully we can start getting through that in the next couple of weeks. Otherwise, I'll see you guys then. Thank you for joining me tonight, or rather today, this morning, and we'll see you next time.